for the first time be overwhelmed with joy. There's a difference between seeing in a new way and seeing for the first time. My new stereo views brought me great pleasure because they didn't disrupt, but rather confirmed, my overall worldview. I could always order objects in depth using cues seen by just one eye. For example, an object in the foreground blocked my view of objects located behind it. One eye gave me depth order, but with a compressed sense of space. When I gained stereo vision, space inflated. I could see, not just infer, the pockets of space between a given object and those behind it. My new 3D views made sense. The same is not true for an adult or older child who gains sight or hearing for the first time. To the newly sighted, the ease with which most of us use our eyes to interpret the world is staggering. Following a single glance, we grasp the gist of the scene before us. But where we perceive a three-dimensional landscape full of objects and people, a newly sighted adult sees a hodgepodge of lines and patches of colors appearing on one flat plane. One 25-year-old woman described her first views in this way. I see an ensemble of light and shadow, lines of different length, round and square things, generally like a mosaic of changeable sensations that astonish me and whose meaning I do not understand. As Albert Bregman points out in his book, Auditory Scene Analysis, sensory input does not come out of nowhere. We don't see greenness in the absence of something that is green. We don't hear loudness in the absence of a sound-causing event. Colors, textures, and contours, squeaks, bangs, and voices belong to something or someone. An adult gaining sight or hearing for the first time is barraged with new sensations that do not seem to belong anywhere. They are disembodied and meaningless. Indeed, ophthalmologist Alberto Valvo quoted the words of one sight recovery patient. "This is too long and unhappy a road, leading one into a strange world. I may even have been happier before this. Now I seem weak, and I am often seized by a great feeling of fatigue." In the accompanying PDF, you will find a photograph titled Figure I-1. When I look at the scene it depicts, I can easily see three separate objects: a cup, a spoon, and a bowl. Although the cup partially blocks my view of the spoon, I recognize the two visible parts of the spoon as belonging to the same object. But to an adult or older child just gaining sight, the photograph may appear as a design on one flat plane so that the two parts of the spoon belong to two separate entities. Shadows in the scene only add to the confusion. Yet the photograph presents a far less complex view than that of an ordinary kitchen, yard, street, or landscape. The same problem of belongingness occurs with audition. As I type on this hot, humid day, I recognize the patter of rain through my open window, the whir of the fan by my desk, the tap of my keystrokes, and my husband's voice. I turn on the radio and hear an orchestra playing. Although the violin and flute are simultaneously playing the same notes, I have no problem recognizing which sounds belong to each instrument. Each of these separate sounds, the rain, the fan, the keystrokes, the violin, and flute, is made up of a combination of sound waves arriving at my ears at the same time. Yet I automatically sort them all into their proper sound sources. I know which sound waves belong to the rain and which to the flute. An adult hearing for the first time, however, perceives an unintelligible cacophony. Sounds lack meaning, are disembodied, and are hard to localize. A newly acquired sense in adulthood does not add to one's understanding of the world. It confounds it. For I am now, after 40 years of what we will term silence, so accommodated to it like a hermit crab to its shell, that were the faculty of hearing restored to me tomorrow, it would appear an affliction rather than a benefit. I do not mean that I find deafness desirable, but that in the course of time the disability has been assimilated to the extent that it is now an integral condition of existence, like the use of a hand. By the same token, the restoration of my hearing or the loss of my deafness, whichever is the right way of